I don't know, I'm just so locked in. I feel like I'm touching my prime. I'm touching my prime years. I'm getting better and better. I've been watching my fights, and I just feel like I'm touching these years where it's about to get real scary for these fighters. I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWork Boxing. I'm going to be talking about Shakur Stevenson. You know, this is the guy that I call the definition in my boxes to watch. I've been following Shakur for a while now, and he has a style amongst many others that embodies the whole hit and not get hit style. You know, if you're a boxing purist, you'll actually love his style and you appreciate what he brings to the table. A while ago, I posed a question. I said, man, is Shakur Stevenson turning over to the dark side? Mike, why? Let me explain it. I was wondering, did he turn over to the dark side? Because there's something with some of these guys. See a lot of it in the Bud Crawford where it's almost like, in a sense, they don't like the criticism that they get, but they embrace that dark side type role. You know, if you've been following either one of these guys, and I think that Shakur kind of sees himself on a path of a Bud Crawford, which he does have the skills. He may not be quite the knockout artist, but we do know that as Bud moved up and he got into 47, that's when he really started cranking it out and he really started sitting down and really getting people up out of there. And you know, who knows what's going to happen when he go to 54, but we do know when he settled in at 47, he was getting everybody out of there. You know, maybe that can be Shakur. That's not one of the things that I appreciate Shakur for. I appreciate Shakur just like I appreciate Bam Bam Rodriguez or Dimitri Bivol. They have some of the perfect hit and not get hit. High defensively, you know, out of this world. Very skilled. I think Shakur is like right behind Bivol. Either they flip-flop or he's like right under Bivol as far as hit and not get hit, the plus and minus. Your opponent hitting you versus you hitting your opponent where you're getting a bigger upper hand and the deficit is just that big. But I'm starting to look at everything and it's like, as I follow along with Shakur, you know, I was one of the ones that put out things and was saying that, you know, man, this dude ain't getting a fair break. Why? Because maybe his social media presence wasn't that great and maybe there was some other people that were better on social media that didn't have anything to do with Shakur or the boxers or whoever has the powerful social media influence online, on the internet, where you can be anybody you want. Because we know and appreciate what Shakur does inside the ring. I looked at the back and forth between him and Devin. I looked at the back and forth between him and Tank. You know, I scanned around and just, you know, really analyzed, and before I really was critical of him, I really evaluated why people didn't like him. A lot of people didn't like him mainly because of one fighter. And if you watch my top 5 toxic fan bases in boxing, it was the #1 toxic fan base. I don't even have to go there anymore because there are plenty enough people online, saturating online, actually expressing how toxic that fan base is. But we all know that Shakur's reputation was kind of smeared because of one fighter and his father. And then I started saying, you know, well, I gotta take whatever that's going on between them two with a grain of salt. Then I started seeing the run-ins with Tank. Tank felt some kind of way because, you know, he felt like, man, this man back in the locker room acting like it's all good, taking pictures, and then on social media he's doing this. Shakur was actually seeing some things that people were actually putting out that Tank was saying when he was asking questions and taking things to heart, when in all actuality, I really never seen any bad blood between them two up until recently. I did hear some outrageous things that Shakur said, like he said that a fight between him and Tank was going to be like a fight between Mayweather and Canelo, and I was just like, like, come on, man. And that's why I kind of felt like Tank got upset. So I was like, you know, when I started getting away from actually defending or trying to rationalize these things and just being more objective in my approach to the sport, because I'm not boxing monogamous. This is not a boxing monogamous channel. I like a lot of different boxers, and Shakur has always been in my boxes to watch. He said something recently, and he was basically saying that, well, if you on that side, then stay over there. And I was just sitting there like, we don't do that in any other sport. We don't do that they don't do that in battle rap. They don't do that in basketball. It is not one of them things where if you like Giannis, then you can't like LeBron. It's just like, we don't do that. You can say who you think is better, but it's really as a fan. Speaking from a fan's perspective, you have your favorite boxers, and everybody doesn't. Your favorite fighter might not fight but once a year. What are you supposed to do? Not like any other boxer. But I started really breaking Shakur down, and I think that he's getting misinterpreted. I think that some of his anger is misplaced. I think that he wants to please the crowd, and coupled along with his social media presence online being dampened by that one fan base, and then the recent performance, he kind of feels like he's down here in the eyes of the fans, when in all actuality he's not. I'm just not sure if embracing this dark side role or this bad guy role, because we've seen what happened to Devin when he actually embraced that dark side role. You know, when he wanted to play the bad boy. We know Shakur has a mean side. Like when he get in there and he get cranked up, he's tuned up, he's in rhythm. We know he has a bad side. He can get it over with if he wants to. If he really sits down and commits and really hones in, he can sit in the pocket with you and get it over with. If he really, really wanted to. That's just not his style. He's a defensive first fighter, you know, where he wants to make you work for everything that you get inside the ring. He's gonna make you miss and then make you pay. You know, it's kind of like what people thought about Floyd, although I do, like, at this point in time, I don't like how people compare him and Floyd, even though it's a kind of good comparison to make, because Floyd was a defensive first fighter. You know, cat-like reflexes, pinpoint accuracy. Shakur has some of those attributes. I just don't think that them two should be compared with each other. And with the recent news, you know, I'm just now finding out that I think somebody said that Tank hadn't been with Floyd since 2022. Nobody ever knew. Everybody was saying Tank was breaking loose. Nobody knows. Some of that stuff is close to the vest. Some of that stuff is GTD. You know, and GTD knows what that is. You know, I'm not worried about that, but I am seeing some things where, you know, it seems like Floyd and Shakur are flirting, and I'm trying to analyze what's going on and if that's going to come to fruition. Me personally, I'm not sure, because of his affiliation and who he's with, and he fights on Top Rank, and you know, Top Rank really, I think they had a plan, but they're going to look out for the guys that they see vested in their plan on their side. They're going to plan for them, just like it looked like those PBC guys. If you were with PBC, they were planning for them guys, getting them guys food on their plate and grooming their guys to greatness. I think Shakur's right now, he's at a crossroads where he has a decision to make. He has a fight coming up here in July where he has to make a statement, because he's fighting a guy that actually lost to Frank Martin. All the criticism he was saying about Tank, I didn't really understand it, because he's fighting a guy that actually lost to Frank, and Tank is actually fighting Frank, and he knocked Tank for actually fighting Frank. When he's saying, and his reason was a guy that avoided him, I'm like, well, Tank also fought Ryan Garcia. After Ryan Garcia pulled out the first time, he wound up fighting a guy in Ryan Garcia who many could say originally avoided Devin Haney when he became Devin Haney's mandatory. So, I mean, we didn't have that same energy then. I think a lot of the time, man, it's really just Shakur wanting the fans to know that, look, I'm that guy. A lot of people believe in Shakur. A lot of people just have their picks. You know, like me personally, I feel like, man, I ride with Shakur pretty much against everybody except for when it comes to Tank. And some of these fans just gotta realize that. It's just like some people are gonna ride with Devin until it comes down to Devin and Tank. Some people are gonna ride with T.O. until it comes down to T.O. and Tank. It just is what it is. And I'm not sure if embracing this bad guy role is gonna be best. Why? Because it can backfire. It can alienate you from a lot of your fans. You know, you can get some people that's pulling for you, wanting to see the young brother with the, you know, with the struggle story coming from the single parent household or having his grandfather in his corner. I mean, you know, I like listening to Wally Moses. I like the fact that he's from New Jersey. I like representing not only just the DMV area, the people from DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but also all my brethren from the East Coast. So I'm thinking, man, it's almost like a warning to Shakur just as a fan saying, hey, man, don't alienate your fans, man. You got people that's riding for you. You got people that's pulling for you. You got people that want you to do good. It just is what it is. It's just like when the Celtics play the Lakers. You could just be a diehard Laker fan, or you could be a diehard Celtic fan. It don't mean that you love one and you hate the other. And that culture online, this boxing culture is created to where boxers feel like they have to do that. I think that Shakur has a skill set that is pretty much unrivaled. I think that he knows himself that he could do more if he wanted to. He knows that he has to like take more risks, more calculated risks. And he knows that it's a lot of pressure riding on his shoulders. But you do have fans that's gonna ride for you, that's gonna pull for you, that want you to see the best. They wanna see you up against the best. They wanna see you succeed. They wanna see you do your thing in the ring. Just they making a pick. It's just like the Earl Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. That became so toxic, and I don't want to go through years and years of it being toxic with him and Devin, toxic with him and Tank. You know, I don't really see much toxicity between him and T.O. But these are some of the names that people are going to want to see. And as a boxer, you can't get mad when people have certain picks. We know he's the real deal. Me personally, I rolled for him when he came out and said he was half Puerto Rican. Everybody was taking the crap on him. I rolled for him when he was saying, when Devin came out and said that blasphemous thing that he was going to get paid more than he ever got paid. I did the math. I was one of the people going against the grain at the time when it was not popular to defend the guy in many things, only because they were trying to support one fighter and his father in that fan base. Well, that time is over. Their reputation has already been damaged when it comes to that fighter and his father and what's going on, and now it's really just a big circus. So I'm thinking that Shakur Stevenson needs to focus. You know, if you're gonna be the bad guy more so inside the ring. Be that guy inside the ring where you just, you know what I'm saying, going in there and you just slaughtering people. Let your killing spree start now. You know, and let that do the talking. I like the whole, you know, I'm the best. I like the whole that it's starting to get scary for other boxers. I like the mindset, because I know in boxing, you got to have a lot of confidence. You got to believe in yourself. You got to feel like nobody can touch me. I'm just thinking this should be showcased more so inside the ring and not outside the ring. But I would love to know what you think about Shakur, man. Is this path, this dark side path that he's on, is it good for him? I'm not sure. I'm thinking it may be if he can do it inside the ring. But doing it on side social media and taking out on people in interviews, I don't think that that's the play. You got a lot of people riding for you, Shakur. You got a lot of people that's pulling for you, that's gunning for you. They're just going to make their picks. I think that you got to get off social media, man, and you got to just be focused on your craft and your future and putting everything inside the ring to get that big fight, to show that you are that guy, to live with whatever results and to be honest about it. You know, I seen a guy, and I'm going to end on this. I seen a guy in Brian Norman where I had some fair criticism about him. I was hearing a lot of things about him online. You know, I was like, man, who is this guy? And I watched the fight. I watched like 2 of the fights, and I was just like, man, it's, you know, I don't know, man. Maybe my expectations were so high when I seen those first 2 fights that when I actually saw him inside the ring, I was just like, I don't know if I'm impressed. I was like, yeah, he can crack. Yeah, I could see some skills. I was like, man, he looked like a nightmare when he get it all together. You know, and at first I made those criticisms, and I got a little bit of backlash from fans online. I'm just like, hold on, well, that's not somebody I'm going to be able to do content on because, you know, it's not necessary. But then he came through and he showed up against Santillion. He got that man out of there. And then listening to, when you listen to people that's closer to the fighter, maybe a father or somebody that's real close, sometimes it can come off as arrogance or something like, they're just this and this and that, and they're just bigger than everybody, and they sit and they reign supreme, and it's just like whole lot of haughtiness. You can get distracted. You can get turned off by a boxer and his fan base, or the guys that's pushing the agenda to actually have them succeed or put their name up in lights. But I heard Brian Norman last night at the Xander Zayas fight, and he himself said, I was looking at the performances and there was things that I didn't like in this. I said, see that, and so that's a fair, when a boxer can take and accept the criticism on their own, when they can buy into the criticisms of their own, and they can say, you know what, I can work on that. Yeah, I can do this. Not get turned off and be like, oh man, F you, out of here, I stay on that. Not that way, but hearing that guy, hearing how the fighter himself was realistic in his performances and saying, look, it was some things I could work on. I had to go back to the lab. Yeah, we went and corrected them, and maybe I didn't perform up to my... That's what fans want to see. That's why people like Errol Spence. With all the flaws he have, and, no matter how many mistakes he's made outside the ring, when Errol Spence gets in front of that camera and you ask him a question, he's going to be straightforward with his answer. And I'm talking about when it comes down to Errol Spence. I'm not talking about when he's promoting his fighter and things he's saying in that nation, because promotion is promotion. But I thought I'd just touch on this, man, because I don't want Shakur Stevenson to get too far on the dark side, lose too many fans. He's already playing the social media game, and it's a losing effort because there's people on social media that have louder voices. They can push better narratives. That's not Shakur's lane. Shakur's lane is to do his thing and be surgical inside that ring. Be the definition, hit and not get hit. So let your killing spree start in the ring now. Get focused. You got Artem Haratunian coming up. I'm looking for Shakur to make a big statement. And I'll promote and break that fight as it goes down, but I want Shakur to know that he got fans out here, man, and maybe they might pick Tank above you when y'all fight. That don't mean that they have ill will towards you or anything like that. That just means that that's their pick. And that's how it is in boxing. That's how it is when it comes in battle rap. That's how it is when it comes to basketball. Any other sport, that's how it is. You just have your picks that you think that, okay, until I see otherwise, this is what I think. Prove us wrong. That don't mean we don't like you. That don't mean we don't ride for you. And I just thought that this was a message that needed to get to Shakur somehow. Simmer down, get focused, go back in the ring, do your thing, put on a devastating performance and make a statement. Because you can grab your career by the horns and you can ride off into the sunset no matter what, but I wouldn't get caught up in the social media thing. Anyways, tune in, chime in. Let me know what you think about this Shakur Stevenson, man. Where is he at right now? What do you see for him? Who do you want to see? We all know that it's a cold war between him and Tank, and that's the fight to make. I just hope that he doesn't buy into what some people want for him to be this ultimate bad guy. Be the bad guy inside the ring. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here at BodyWorkBoxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.